Miles and Gwen, two teens who we witness firsthand deal with their emotions and grow as people, reaching adulthood and figuring out who they are. Two teens who love each other but not in the same way, not in the traditional teenage way. That's why they work, but also don't. In this video, I'm going to explain to you why Gwen and Miles don't work. Let's begin. Before I get to comparing the two lovers and everything wrong with them, you have to understand both lovers. This is the most important part of the video. You have to understand their context and who they are. So I'm going to explain to you who Gwen is in my perspective. Gwen is a late teenager, basically an adult girl who is always alone. She lacks emotions. But no, Gwen isn't emotionless. She simply lacks someone to talk to. Gwen, as we see her in the opening of the movie, is always dealing with everything herself. And the problem is, she can't talk with anyone for some reason. Gwen can't talk with her dad. Why? Because what would she talk about? Oh, hey, Pops, I'm Spider-Woman. No, it wouldn't work, and he wouldn't understand her at all, as we see in the movie itself. So her dad is gone from the equation. Who else is left? Mom? She was never shown. Friends? Gwen is shown to have no friends. And I'll come back to that later. Finally, we reach Peter. Peter was Gwen's best friend, and as shown, she most definitely would talk to him. But that's where my next point starts, so I'll end this one quickly. Gwen can't talk to anyone about her emotions in life because there's always a reason interfering it, mainly due to the fact that she is Spider-Woman and no one would understand her problems. This is my first point. Gwen is full of emotions, energy, and problems that a kid would have. But she can't share it because she has no one to share it with, causing her to be scared of confronting her issues like most adults are. Now that we know Gwen is scared of confronting her issues, let's move on to my next point. Gwen's issues and their causes. For starters, Gwen is very angry all the time. She has rage built up, and it's probably because she fears confronting her issues, forcing herself to stop being Gwen and getting addicted to being Spider-Woman. This addiction to hiding behind a mask and stopping crime while getting to risk her life and fight is what fuels Gwen's anger and rage when she's just Gwen. Next issue she has is the loss of close ones. We know she had a best friend, Peter Parker. We know she lost that friend because she couldn't save him, or rather Peter couldn't save himself. The final issue Gwen has is growing up too fast. This issue is because of the other issues adding up. Gwen became a superhero sometime when she was 15, lost a best friend sometime when she was 15, lost her relationship with her dad sometime she was 16 or 17. In a matter of 2 to 3 years, Gwen has lost everyone and herself, yet she blames no one but herself. We know Peter ruined his own life because he doesn't like Gwen protecting him every time. We know the spider bit Gwen because that's a canon event. We know her dad was about to arrest her instead of even thinking about his daughter. Yet this entire time, Gwen learns to accept this is life, this is her fate, and this is her fault. She accepts she is the protector and sacrifices are necessary to become a better hero. This is growing up and maturity. This is Gwen's final issues in my eyes. She grew up too fast and became an adult before she should have. So now that we went over a few important things about Gwen for you to understand her character, allow me to summarize. Gwen is an emotional girl, filled with issues from abandonment, loss, and responsibilities. Gwen is a teenager who has no one to talk to and no one there for her. Her issues stem from being a Spider-Woman and bearing the responsibilities all Spider people have. She's wanted by her own dad and has a protector issue, wanting to keep everyone she loves safe. In shorter words, as I wrap up who Gwen is, to give you context for why Miles and Gwen don't work, Gwen is a kid who was forced to become an adult, forced to be free, and forced to face responsibilities. Remember this forceful transition to adulthood as it plays a key role later on. Miles is the polar opposite of Gwen, and that's essentially it. I'm going to talk about a few things that prove this, but if you want to skip ahead, let me summarize. Miles is a kid by every factor, age, emotional maturity, and by the way he is perceived by others. But he wants to grow up so badly. He will do anything for it. That's who Miles is, and that's who you need to understand for the main point. Firstly, Miles wants to let go of his parents. Not literally or just go no contact, but rather Miles wants to leave the nest so badly. He wants them to be less protective and less strict. He wants to go to a university a state away. Miles wants the freedom adults have so badly, and he's ready to leave his parents for good now for it. Again, not forever or literally, but rather just leaving the nest. Secondly, Miles hasn't experienced enough loss. Now, the entire movie actually is about this very concept, right? The canon event Miles hasn't gone through yet. To be an adult and to be a proper superhero, you need to understand that everyone you love can die, and your need goes second to the people's. Every Spider-Man in the movie has lost someone important, for example, Uncle Ben or Captain Stacy, etc. But Miles hasn't. Sure, his uncle died, but the truth is he still hasn't lost enough to understand what adulthood is. Miles is still immature and lacks the loneliness required to be an adult and to be Spider-Man. Lastly, Miles doesn't appreciate what he has. Throughout the film, we see Miles learn more about what is being kept away from him. He learns everyone is hiding the fact that he is an anomaly and doesn't belong. He learns his closest friends and companions knew this the entire time but acted to care for him. Miles understandably never appreciated this lack of self-knowledge, his lack of what his position truly is. He always wanted to be an adult and have the knowledge an adult deserves to know. In doing so, he trapped himself in another universe, stuck and lost. And perhaps we might finally see him understand that being an adult and having this self-knowledge and him not appreciating that his life was better when he didn't know everything is something we'll see in Beyond the Spider-Verse. Again, to recap, Miles is a kid by every factor, but unlike Gwen, he desires to be an adult and grow up, to be free and know everything. That's who Miles is. Finally, after setting up context for who Miles and Gwen are, I think we can properly understand why they don't work in a romantic relationship. As you may have noticed by now, it stems from both characters being the opposite of one another. Gwen is an adult and Miles is a kid. Of course, I don't mean age-wise. Both are near the same age and are teenagers. But I mean by maturity. Gwen was practically forced to grow up and take the burdens of being an adult, whereas Miles has yet to experience the transition and responsibilities to be an adult. Why does this affect them romantically? Well, that's because both of them want separate things from one another. As we see from a simple motion like Miles trying to touch Gwen's hand or his tweets online, he desires a romantic relationship filled with love and comfort, a teenage movie with its happy ending. But Gwen desires a friendship. She wants someone she can be herself with, express herself around, and feel like a teenager, feel youthful. Now think about this for a second. Imagine a teenage relationship in high school and tell me what it is without intimacy. Remove all romantic actions and what is that relationship now? Without all the adult actions in a relationship, the teenage relationship is nothing but the closest of friends. That's what Gwen wants. She doesn't want the adult romance Miles wants. She wants a friend, someone to feel young around, someone to have fun with and not protect them, someone like Miles. Of course, Gwen knows Miles loves her, and of course we know Gwen loves him. We can see it in their interactions and the way they care for one another, etc. But these two want their love in a different way. That is why they do not work, because their very love itself is built on different expectations. Think about this. Miles started to love Gwen because she was free, she was confident, and she was powerful, and she was mature. Miles fell in love with Gwen because it showed him what he wanted to be as an adult. Cool, mature, and free. Gwen saw Miles fail in the start. She saw Miles learn, make mistakes, be youthful and carefree. She fell in love with Miles for the comfort, freedom, from all responsibilities and his youthfulness because she needed to feel like a teen. In short, Miles loves Gwen for the future he desires, whereas Gwen loves Miles for the past she remembers. Both characters want to feel like their own goal of themselves with the other person. Gwen likes to feel like her past youthfulness self when she's with Miles, and Miles likes to feel like his future mature self with Gwen. This is why their relationship does not work, because they love different aspects of one another, want different things from one another, and are both opposites of one another, while also seeing themselves in each other and not actually totally seeing the other person. I hope this video made sense to you because it does to me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please consider dropping a like and even subscribing. Let's see how their relationship progresses and beyond the Spider-Verse. Thanks for watching.